We're in Europe, I hope. How are we doing, my brother?
So, good. How's it going, man?
I'm doing well. We're back on mainland Europe. The vibe's good.
Yes, sir.
Love to see it. How was the hackathon?
Dude, it was good. It was good. I feel still a bit tired, man. Like we didn't sleep all night, and I just did the same thing again yesterday. But it
Hey,
was a time.
when you're building super intelligence for video editors, you sort of have to stay up. That's the only way
Very
I
good.
can see it, right? Like I've got to get my sleep so I look good on the stream, so I can make you look good.
Cheers, man.
Dude, give me some context, give me some intro. We've had you on the show before in its previous renditions, but for the stream, tell us about Avlana, tell us about Matthias.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, nice to be here. Yeah, we did a deep dive like a few months ago. That was a good time.
Hey, it was a good time.
Um, Maybe briefly on what we're building. Our background is really supercharging post-production. So we started with basically automated footage labeling, went from labeling to sorting, and then from sorting to basically rough cut assembly for professional productions, be that major brands or some of the biggest content creators. We're currently actually kind of pivoting away from that a little bit. So going more into the general creator economy direction. Right now, the pitch is basically a remote editor in your messenger. So you message our agent and you receive ready to post video directly out without ever touching any kind of video editor.
And is it
That's a
based
killer.
on, is the idea that it's based on all of your assets or is it just random? Is it generating that automatically?
You share your footage pool with us or your project. We look through it, or our AI looks through it. You either give us some context on what you want, or we make suggestions for you, and then we deliver that.
Incredible. We're gonna have to do a deep dive when you fully moved into the pivot because I feel like I'm gonna need this for the show.
We'll get there.
Love it. Look, we brought you on to talk about Project Lovable. I love a reason why you decided to go instead of going to SF. I saw the video you posted on YouTube. Thought it was epic. The diving out of the plane was just the yeah, like the cherry on on the cake. But like, why Project Lovable? And then like, what were the vibes when you were there, and the learnings from doing your first hack?
Yeah, I mean, the context of the whole video was basically I had just gotten back from SF actually. I spent most of July in the Bay Area just meeting founders, investors, the shebang, and you get back to Europe, and it does feel a little bit like a deceleration, or at least that's how it felt a little bit. Just getting back, I was in Berlin for 2 weeks, and I think the talent density and the density of just serendipity just does not feel the same. Like if I walk to a random blue bottle in SF, I will meet a VC and I will meet a founder. I don't think you have that anywhere else in the world. So it's like, how do you kind of compensate for that? How do you take that hype with you? And we actually were debating like, hey, should we like how often should we go back to take that with us? Because there are moments where head down building makes sense, but there are also moments where maybe getting some more inspiration, maybe kind of picking up this energy, seeing how people that are vastly more successful than you are making this work and learning from that can be very useful. Um, so yeah, that was something we were debating and actively talking about, and then we randomly, and that's kind of how we got the idea for the video as well. Was like we're like, oh wait, they're doing something new or something that looks interesting, different in Europe as well, which was when Harry was posting about this whole Project Lovable hype, and we're like, okay, we kind of want in on that, even just if it's like, how can we find some more momentum or a better foothold in Europe for ourselves, and kind of latch onto the energy, not from kind of like this remote way, which is like all the way from the Bay Area, but can we harness this energy so that's somewhere closer and meet builders that are, yeah, from Europe, in Europe, building in Europe. So we were like, okay, let's just do this. And that, so basically we just turned the narrative, what we were already talking about, and turned that into basically an application video, which we thought was so funny we had to post it as well. And that's the whole story. I was like, yeah, like we want to go to SF, but if it's closer, if it's in Stockholm, all the better.
We've lost Matthias for a short moment. I'm sure he will be right back. I think it's just the internet that's playing up. Have no fear. The clips will go out cleanly. When you got to Stockholm, what were the vibes like? Did it feel like that SF energy, or was it actually underwhelming to begin with and then got into it as you got into the hack?
No, it felt absolutely on fire from the moment we got there.
Oh,
Like
really? Wow.
flew in, got coffee.
Good coffee,
I
I
mean,
hear.
my co-founder Adrian, I think he met two. Oh, it was good. It was good. He met two of the other teams, like I think on the plane there. I didn't have that experience, sadly. We arrived at the venue. Aaron, who I think was just previously on here, and he also won the whole thing. Like
Yep.
he was right walking into as we were walking in. I was like, dude, Aaron's here too. What is happening? This is so fun. Met like three other builders I knew as well. Um, and yeah, I mean, like the energy was up here. I think the quality of builders was also, it felt like on a different level. I think sometimes you end up in hackathons where it feels like it's more of a school project or a side thing than like a serious thing. I think it's really hard to differentiate on that. One side in terms of like who are the organizers, how are you making this happen, and then how do you kind of filter for really good talent to join this. And I think, especially given the time they had to make this happen, I think Project Europe did a really good job of making people, like bringing in people who were genuinely passionate and excited about what they were doing. And no, it felt electric, absolutely. Like from the start, from before they even did any kind of introduction speech, just like meeting people, talking to people, figuring out what people were trying to build or what they were doing besides the hackathon. That was just really fun.
Talk to me about what you decided to work on and why. Like I haven't been
Mhm.
to a lot of hacks in my life, and I ended up watching a considerable part of this Lovable live stream because it was absolutely amazing. The ETS guys did an incredible job, right? Have you watched
Mhm.
it back? It's awesome.
I should. I didn't actually. I did not get time to do
Dude, you got to check
that.
it out. It's such a great stream. But yeah, talk to me about how you end up choosing the project to work on in those 20 hours. Is it something
Mhm.
that you're thinking about as a team and one of those infamous escapes that you do, or is it something that you come up with like in the moment and go, right, we're going to ship this?
Yeah. I think it's different depending on what your context is. Like our context is still like we're a startup, so normally I can also speak to like the last hackathon we were in that was organized by Bela, Tech Europe, so kind of a similar
Please,
thesis
let's do
here.
it.
And there it was like, okay, what are our current weaknesses or stuff that we don't tackle with our current venture that could be interesting? And then you have this beautiful context of a hackathon to just dive deep into a problem you know you would normally not tackle, just because it's so easy to get lost in just the operations of a startup and just building for your users that you don't normally get to explore out. And that is kind of a benefit of being a startup, is you can move fast, you can break stuff, you can try out new things. And this is like, for us, hackathons are like a perfect window to do that, which is just okay, what are maybe strengths of what we know we should be building but just haven't had time to build, or what's even something that we know we're not good at as a like from a technical perspective, and what are how can we brainstorm how we can solve that in, let's say, 20 hours, for example. So actually we came in going into, okay, we want to build a perfect agent, or not perfect, we want to build an agent for video pre-production. That was also the pitch in our application. We got there, the energy felt so like electric, inspiring, and then also Harry was like, "Be unreasonable." He mentioned that word like 10 times, and we were like, "Wait, fuck, this sounds too reasonable." In hindsight, maybe it was reasonable enough. So we are like, let's just ditch everything and just think about what's the one thing we actually want right now, or like that we always wanted. The problem with unreasonable is if you really lean into unreasonable, it becomes like actually you go out of the realm of feasibility. I think we may push that a bit too hard, and we were like, okay, what if you could have an agent that keeps working when you go to sleep? That was what we were trying to solve. So it's like, I have a lot of different, sometimes more, sometimes less complex projects that I have to do during the day. Um, and a lot of this, if I go to sleep, it gets like the time stops, right? Like nothing happens. And some of these tasks are not necessarily ones that need a lot of brain power. It's just like something has to keep the ball rolling. Like let's
Yep.
say I'm organizing an event, I need to find 10 venues. Maybe I'm on the different, I'm in SF and I'm organizing an event in Germany. So like maybe like the time that overlap is different. A lot of maybes here. So if I have an agent that reaches out and gets just proposals or cost sheets from venues, puts them together for me, asks for better quotes, follows up on like, let's say, catering, these are all very low level tasks that basically just like the earlier you ask the question to these kind of businesses, the faster you get a response, right? So we're like, hey, what if you could build a tool that can do that for you? So you talk to it before going to sleep, you kind of yap, you're like, hey, today I did this and this and that. These are still the open tasks I need to do. I need to write some emails, I need to prepare some drafts, and I wanted to go over my runway calculator sheet, whatever. And then that agent would have access to these tools and would go in and just solve those for you. And that's what we're trying to build. The part that we underestimated was how hard it is to build a lot of these tools from scratch because there's not much open source stuff. So we built, I think, 4 tools. We had like a Google Map scraper, we had a web scraper, we could do emails, we could do a few other things, but it wasn't enough to really call it like a finished workflow. And I think that's where we kind of fell a bit short, at least given the 20 hours we had. And we were building the agents the whole time.
Was the goal to like wrap it up in a really nice UX and so you could literally quite literally just yap to it, or was it kind of like janky that you ended up delivering on?
Yeah, the other insight that we were trying to build on was like you really just yap to it. So there's
Right.
no like it's not this like N8N gum loop thing, which they arguably are we're getting better at UX, but it's not something that a consumer or like a norm your average project manager or founder could like work with. Um, and here's like, okay, what if you just make voice the interface and you handle all these like agentic tasks in the background, and visualize it in a very easy to do way. That was the idea, yeah.
What were the learnings from like putting all of that agentic framework in the background? Did you realize that, oh, actually, this makes my life a little bit easier. It's not as complex as we thought. Or was it the fact that you were trying to basically build like mini AGI to go and do tasks that it was just so unfeasible?
I think we scoped it into feasibility by just working on like specific workflows. So like we were like, hey, what if we just do it for event managers, for example, as like a way to make it a bit more realistic in the time frame as well. Um, I think the other part is like the prototype for this probably would have taken more like 3 or 4 days than 20 hours, and that's just something that we just, at least given our developing power, could not solve in that time frame.
So you've gone through the hack, obviously didn't make it into the didn't end up winning, but like the learnings that you took from that, how does that roll into how you continue to build product and the next hacks you do?
Hmm. I think 2 things. One thing is like we always try to make sure that we work on something that we're trying to look into anyway. So like right now, if we're talking about video post-production agents, agentic workflows there,
I see
building general
I
workflows.
see the connection like instantly, right?
Yeah. So it's like pushing a boundary in a different area, but still working in a way that we can take these learnings back to what we're building ourselves. I think that was a big one. Like we can still use a lot of these like tools we built for the agent for that task and bring it over into what we're doing. Maybe add some adaptations here and there. I think a learning we did make though was that um, we weren't building into an area that we were truly excited about. Like I don't, to be honest, care that much about event management, right? It's like it was just like it felt right in that moment. But I think what definitely played into like let's say like Aaron's team's hand was like they had just come off a hackathon the week before where they were building in video. They were brainstorming the whole weekend on video, and I think by already having this like relatively narrow problem opportunity space that you also are truly excited about, I think that translates into a very different energy when you actually turn that into a product, into a demo. And I think part of what failed to show through in our product and in our video was really just like we weren't really truly excited about it, right? We're like, this would be cool, but this isn't like if it were a video, I probably would have had a whole different level of engagement towards even the passion and handcraft that goes into, for example, the video we created for that.
I've got to ask then, like, why didn't you just do video?
That's the learning, right? That was the focus part. I think I wrote a LinkedIn post on that as well. It was like we I think we overthought it. Like that's it. Like there's no excuse for that. It's just we were overthinking, I think, what we wanted to get out of it, and maybe we underplayed the importance of the area we're building in right now as well. And I think just a combination of different things came together for us to not do that. If I could go back, I think the one thing I would change, and that's the only thing I would change, would be like let's build something in our actual space. Period.
What are, what are some of the successes that came out of it for you? Was it the people you got to meet, these like epic builders and talent, the kind of the VCs and people sort of swanning around the room that you could interact with if you had a spare second and weren't hacking together this
Mhm.
product? Talk to me about that a little bit.
Mhm. Yeah, I think for us, I think as a startup, you have like different modes of operating where there are times when VCs are really excited for you. I think we're not in that time now. Like I could care less how many more VCs I know. Sure, it's good to have these people in your network, and I think that's definitely valuable when you get there. Just like how do you kind of keep these low touch points and just keep those stuff warm. For us, I think the biggest one is more the people, the builders. A lot of these people were not just like founders, but also just students building really interesting technical projects, even also in like the computer vision space. I think that for us was really fun. And just connecting, yeah, what you said, like connecting with builders, that was the most exciting part, at least for me. And then all the VCs investors were like the cherry on top, I would say.
We love to see it. What's next for the team? Is it to continue going to hacks, or is it to sort of dial in and go into the deep dive work that you like to do?
Make this hackathon and then build from we're that, which is when you like you build in such a condensed period, like an extra product and just keep pushing to make that the best we possibly can. And I think the next hackathon for us would then be, do we feel like we're in a moment where we either need to explore some kind of pivot, explore some neutrality? But if we're not in that kind of phase, I think there's when you say hackathons, your body can do in a year as well.
I can't wait to do my first 24-hour live stream with you guys and sit and just like ship content while you guys are shipping product. Matthias, I'm going to let you get back to the team meeting. You're building something incredible, and you know I always love a good chit chat with you. I'm looking forward to having the team on and yourself again.
Cheers. Thank you, Raj. Have a good one.
Dude, you as well. I'll speak to you soon. Ciao.